Hey you guys, it's your girl KP Kings back in the building. So I am ready to do finally the last reviews of The Chi, right? So I know I missed last week, you guys, and the week before that. But I'm finally back. So I did the notes on episode 9 of The Chi. I did that like 2 weeks ago, but for whatever reason I just never recorded the video. So here we are. So I took notes. So episode 9, as y'all know, of The Chi, it opens up with Kevin and Papa, I'm assuming in Kevin's room, and they're like playing music and they're singing along to the music and they're really feeling the song. I think it was Walked Out of Heaven by Jagged Edge. I believe that was the song. Don't quote me, but it was a bomb song because I remember that song and I used to love that song myself. So they was in the mirror, singing and getting in with the song, right? So I was like, okay, that's really cute, that's really relatable, when you're feeling in your feelings and you just have the right song come on, you get into it. Like, I know, I've been there. It opens up with them. Honestly, I thought they were recording like a little video or something to send to my Asia, talking about something, oh, I miss you. I thought that's the direction they were gonna go with that, but luckily they were just in the house clowning around, So they in there getting it, right? Singing. Cute, cool, whatever. So then you cut to the scene. Keisha back in her room. She on the phone. She texting or whatever. She texting the dude from the store, right? I finally figured out his name, y'all. I guess because they sent it through a text message. So when the text message came in her phone, it said Christian. So I literally put that in my notes. Like, I finally found the guy's name, you guys. His name is Christian. And Emmett, for whatever reason, ends up at his ex house, his ex-girlfriend. I think it's one of his previous baby mamas, I believe. Anyway, he ends up at her house. He's talking to her about Tiff and about what they going through. And basically like, oh, how he not feeling the little open marriage situation anymore. And she's just not responding the way he thought she would. So, I mean, I forget the advice that she gives him. This is probably the worst to be doing a review 2 weeks after I watched the episode, but just bear with me. Hopefully my notes are thorough. Right now they look like they're a little all over the place, but stay with me. Emmett is still in his feelings about the whole Tiff situation, so we're gonna see how that transpires toward the end of the episode. So cut to a scene of Jake and Gemma talking about something. They got this dance thing coming up or whatever that they supposed to be going to, I think for the school. And so Jake is sitting there with Gemma and she's talking to him about something. He is completely not paying her no attention. He is in his own world for whatever reason. And that kind of reminds me of my point that, you guys, I don't see it for them. I don't see that working because, like I said, Jake is cool and all, but him and Gemma, I don't see the match. I don't see what they have in common. I don't see the connection besides a physical attraction. I don't see anything else for them. And it's pretty evident in that scene while she's talking to him and she's like, Jake, did you hear what I said? Clearly he didn't. And I also put that I also still feel like Gemma is very self-centered. She's very about herself, you know what I mean? So, and if you're not paying attention to her, you're not that guy for her, period. So Trig, Jake's brother, decides to give him the car to take Gemma to this dance or whatever that they going to. So, Jake is so souped. He's like, oh, you about to give me the whip? You about to give me the whip? He's souped up. He's ready, okay, to take this car and enjoy himself, all right? So he's happy about that, which is cool. Trig is talking to Duda, a.k.a. Mr. Perry. That light-skinned guy, I forget his name, happened to be Gemma's father. He was working on the campaign for Mr. Perry or Duda or whatever. He's working on the campaign to try to get him to be mayor or whatever, something like that. So he storms into the office upset about something once again Duda done did. And he's like, have you seen this newspapers? Yo, yeah, going on. So Duda's, of course, unfazed. He's just like, okay, and what's your point? Type of situation. And the guy's like, this is not good. This is not good for your campaign. You don't pay attention to nothing nobody tried to tell you. You just doing your own thing, type of thing. Very upset. Basically storms out of the office. This is Gemma's father we're talking about. So Trig is there at the time when the guy storms in, and once the guy leaves, whatever, him and Duda are talking, and basically they're just, Trig is trying to, I guess, give him some advice. Like, not advice, because, like, who is he? But, like, trying to get his mind state, like, where are we going with this plan that we had for, making the city safer and better for the people who live here? Like, where are we going with this plan, dude? Because, things are popping off, type of thing. So, long and the short is, I feel like Duda just made himself another enemy in Gemma's father. And Trig is basically in the office trying to talk to him, trying to figure out, okay, what's this guy's game plan? Like, what are we doing here? Next scene, you see Jada and Daryl. Is his name Darren or Daryl? Anyway, Jada's ex-husband or whatever, Emmett's father. He goes around to Jada's house. He's spending some time with her. They talking, just mending old wounds, talking about old times, laughing, joking, catching up type of thing, which I always thought was really cute. Some very mature, adult conversation, which is very nice. I feel the little vibe that they have going on. I clearly know that is all it is. It ain't gonna be no more than a vibe, but it's nice to see that, at one point Jada had a very probably tumultuous relationship with this guy, with Daryl, whatever, Emmett's father, because he seemed kind of one of those self-centered guys, gets what he gets and then he's out the door type of situation. He ain't got time for nothing else really. He just about himself. But then as he gets older and gets more mature, just like Emmett, he's starting to kind of understand, that some of his old player ways wasn't right and he should have did a little better by his family and his baby mother and things of that nature. So you definitely see Emmett's father coming around, showing up his mature side, which is really great, and taking care of Jada. And I like to see Jada smiling again. She seems to be kind of coming to terms with her condition. She's, able to smile and be joyful and have a good sense of humor again. So that's kind of a good feeling to see Jada kind of come around and, kind of accept her situation and try to move on. So then we get to thing you see is Keisha. She come by Smokey's, Emma's job. And I don't know, I guess she was just there to get some food or whatever. And then so Emmett starts talking to her about, what he got going on, that he trying to work on getting a house, this, that, and the third, which is big moves, which is wonderful. So she's a little surprised to hear that, but she's happy for him and things of that nature. Emmett also happens to notice that Keisha kind of has a little bit of a different vibe about her these days. She's got a little bit of a different aura about her these days. You know what I'm saying? So he like, what you so smiley about? You got a new man, don't you? Clocking her tea. Like, Emmett, mind your business. Whatever she got going on is her business. But anyway, clocked her tea, and she just, kind of looking like, how you know that or whatever. And she eventually admits it, like, yeah, I'm seeing somebody or whatever. And he's like, okay, whatever. Just make sure he, he right. Don't make me have to chop him up or whatever. Like, on some big brother type thing, not on some jealousy thing. So it was really cute. And then you also see later that Keisha still has kind of this ongoing relationship with the mother who was going to adopt her baby. So apparently she's still around. She still like does stuff for Keisha every once in a while, which I think is nice. She didn't just drop off the planet like, okay, you ain't giving me the baby, I'm out. Like, but you know, so she still cares. She's still around. She's still doing little things. I think she gave her something that she couldn't use because she bought it for the baby, and because she wasn't keeping the baby, she gave it to Keisha instead. So that was nice. I forget the lady's name. You know, Tabitha Brown is the actor that plays the adoptive mother or whatever. So it was nice to still see her in this episode. Wasn't really necessary, but it was cool. So then, Papa apparently has a job working at Smokies. And it's a little busy that day or whatever. But so it's like a little line or whatever. And then I just put in my notes that, you know what, Kevin need to get a job. That's what he need to do, because you see how Papa working, and he keeping himself busy. So even if, you know, his little situation with my Asia doesn't work out, you know, at least he got something to keep his mind occupied, do something with his time type situation. That's what Kevin need to be doing. Kevin need to get himself a job and find something to do, and stop chasing around these raggedy girls. And stop worrying about Gemma. Like, he need a whole new game plan. But that's just my opinion. Kevin need to keep himself busy. But moving on. So then I remember, so the movie back to Jada and Emmett's father, Darren, whatever his name is. I know it begins with a D. We'll just call him D because I can't remember whether it's Daryl or Darren, but D. So Jada and D are back at the house, and he is cooking up her some food. She like, cook what type thing, but he like, girl, don't play me. Wait till you get these pork chops in your system, right? So here D is cooking for Jada. I think that's really nice. I'm sure he hasn't done that in a long time, and she seemed a little skeptical at first, like I said, but it overall turned out really nice. He took the time to cook for her, and so she could have a nice home cooked meal and everything. Then even, you know, check in with Emmett to make sure he come by and get a little bit of that dinner too, so they could all have a little family dinner. So I thought that was really cute. So I thought that was really nice that, you know, Darren, you know, D was there taking care of Jada and everything. I did put in my notes though, like, where is that dude? You know, the dude that she was dating? I don't think we seen him this whole episode. So I was just curious, like, is he just busy working or something? Like, where is that guy or whatever? I think he shows up later on in the episode. But at that moment, when I was seeing, you know, everything that D was over there so much and taking care of Jada and all that, I was just wondering what happened to Shy or whoever that guy was that, you know, the masseuse guy that Jada was seeing. What happened to him? So I put that in my notes. Like, where's that little boot thing at? Shouldn't he be making her dinner? Anyway, moving on. So then, Kevin is at home playing his video game as usual. And then as soon as that girl that he liked, Lene or whatever, as soon as she get on her game, whatever, you know how it shows you when you're friends with somebody, oh, such and such is online or they're playing such and such game. So he sees her come up on the screen like, oh, such and such playing. And he being thirsty like he is, he gonna ring off her phone like, hey, what's up, what you doing? So, of course she's like, oh, nothing, I'm just playing the man game, whatever. But you can tell that she's starting to soften up toward Kevin at this point, because in the beginning she was just like really not about that life. Like, she was just like, yeah, boy, keep it moving. I ain't got time. So, but she's starting to soften up to him. You can see that now. And so I don't know if he invites her over or whatever, but I guess she eventually tells him that she's in the house by herself or whatever. So he said, oh, why don't you come over and play some video games with me or whatever? And, you know, at least it wasn't Netflix and chills, like, no. But so she agrees. She comes over to play video games because, like I said, she was home alone and she didn't want to be there by herself. So and while they're playing the games, and then he started beating her real bad or whatever, so he's like, well, if you don't want to play this game anymore, we can also go to this dance or whatever that they having. or whatever. Like, granted, I don't think he even go to that school anymore. So, like, how would you even get into that dance? But anyway, that ain't my point. So he invites Lene to go to this dance with him. And at first she's like, but then she's like, all right, let's go. Let's go. And I'm going to make a little comment about that in a minute. I don't know if I put it in my notes, so I'll get around to that. So they go to the dance, see Jake and Gemma at Gemma's house, you know, taking pictures. You know, like you normally take pictures before you go out to your dance, your little prom or whatever you finna do. So they in the house flicking it up, taking pictures, whatever. Miss Afro Gemma, she came through with the outfit. It was cute, okay? I felt Jake could have put on a little better outfit than that. He was looking kind of basic in my opinion, but whatever. So they taking pictures or whatever at the house, and then they're about to go to the dance. Right, so they took their little pictures. You know, he put her in the little coupe that his brother lent him, you know. So he souped up, he opened the door for her and everything. He acting like a real gentleman and stuff. So they get in the car, they heading off to the little dance party, whatever. So now Duda's in the house, though. Duda shows up, mind you, to give Jake give Jake a corsage to give to Gemma. So Duda's at the house. At first it was just Trig, Gemma, her father, and Jake at the house doing the pictures. Then Duda shows up, you know what I'm saying, to give them a corsage, like, oh, I wouldn't miss this day. Like, he really give a crap about Jake. But anyway, I'm gonna tell y'all, I never liked that man, and y'all gonna see why later. Or whatever. So Duda's at the house now with Gemma's father. I forget his name. In my notes, I ended up calling him Light Bright, because he has, like, I think a bald head and he's light skinned. So I call him Bald Light Bright. That's probably not the best nickname, but that's how I described him in my notes because I couldn't think of his name. So anyway, he's at the house with Duda. He tells Duda that this is Gemma's father we're talking about. He tells Duda that they have some type of disagreement. Duda somewhat brings up something about his have a disagreement with each other. They end up arguing about something. The light bright guy, the bald guy, Gemma's father, says to Duda, like, oh, well, I think you're involved. He suggests that he's involved in some type of gang activity or whatever. And he suggests that he has proof of this. And not only does he have proof of this, but if Duda doesn't get his act together or start doing something, he says to him that he's going to out him, basically. He's going to expose him. He's going to let everybody know that he has connections to these gangs or whatever. So Duda gets upset. He loses his temper with the guy. And he pretty much assaults him pretty bad. Beats him up pretty bad. In his own house. Beat the man up in his own house. At this point, like I said, Trig had gone outside or something. He wasn't in the house when they had the argument. It was just the two of them in the house having an argument. Trig had gone outside or done something at that point. So Duda gets upset. He beats the guy up real bad. And then Trig comes in and sees the man on the floor damn near bleeding to death. And Duda just sitting in the chair, like, looking at him like, okay, type situation. So Trig is shocked. He's like, what in the world happened here? Like, I step out for 1 minute and you beat the man down? Like, what? So Trig runs in. He trying to do something to save him. And Duda straight up looked Trig in the eyes, in his eyeballs, and said to him, let that nigga die. Girl, let me tell you. From that moment, from the minute where he started assaulting him, when he started beating him with his fists, okay, I said, you know what? This is why that man should have died. Like 2 episodes ago. Everybody was like, oh, why you say that? That's why I said that, because I told you something ain't right with this man. Like, he's not really about the community. He's not really trying to do nothing for these people. And if he is, he got another agenda. There's something else going on with this man. I never trusted him. Like, he always had this weird, like, vibe about him. Like, he was off. And then when he snapped like that and beat the man up in his own house, I said, okay, now you gonna tell me ain't nothing wrong with this man. You gonna tell me he got all his marbles together. No, that man snapped. Like, he wasn't even thinking, like, first of all, you did it in the man's house. You know what I'm saying? And if he does survive, you don't think he gonna tell on you? You don't think he gonna press charges on you for the assault, sir? That's assuming he makes it. But I guess he assumed that he was gonna die, so he wasn't really concerned. But anyway, Trig walked in. I think Jake and Gemma were at the party, minding their business or whatever. Of course, Kev and Lene show up. He shows her who his ex-girlfriend was and who she's with and blah blah blah. And of course she's not fazed by it or whatever. So I forget, they start taking a tour, I think, of the school at one point. And I don't really know what happens to them after that. If they go back to Kevin's house or what. All I know is Jake turns to Gemma and tells her, oh, we got to go back to your house. And then she's like, why? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I get, not that they just got there, but like, you know, they haven't really been at the party that long. And Jake is like, no, I got to go back to your house because I left my bag there. And, you know, of course she's like, okay, why is that a big deal? And then he's like, oh, well, I left my bag there, but I have my weed in that bag. And I don't want your dad to find that in my bag. So he tells Gemma, we got to go back to the house so I can go get my bag, basically. And so she's like, okay, let's go, or whatever. So they get in the truck, you know what I'm saying? And Jake drives her back to the house. Now, mind you, she's sitting in the car. So Jake's like, tells her, you should go get the bag or whatever. Thank goodness she didn't. But he initially told her, no, you should go in and get it or whatever. She's like, no, what you mean? You go get it type of thing. Because she figures, like, once she goes in the house, her dad's not going to let her go back out. So she's like, no, you just go get it or whatever. He's probably sleeping anyway, yeah, whatever. So Jake gets out the car, leaves Gemma in the car, goes inside of the house to go get his stuff. When he walks in, what does he see? Gemma's dad beat to a pulp on the ground, bleeding. Trig hovering over him, trying to figure out what he doing with his life. And then dude is sitting in the chair looking crazy. So he walks in and he's like, what the fuck is this type thing? You know what I mean? And Trig is like, hold on, bro. Before you trip out, this ain't even what it looked like. He was like, well, what it looked like is this man finna die in here. Like, what's happening? Like, who did this to him type of thing? But honestly, Jake ain't had time. He grabbed his shit and he walked smooth out. He said, oh, I don't know what just happened in here, but I ain't got nothing to do with it and I'm trying to get out. So he grabbed his little stuff, he turned around and he left, okay? So he don't even know what happened after that point. But here's the thing. So Jake gets back in the car with Gemma. Obviously, he knows something is wrong with her dad. Did not say a word to her. And they just was like, all right, let's go. And just took off somewhere. I don't know where they went. I think they ended up going to a hotel for the night or whatever. I'm not sure. Or if they went back to the party for a little while. But then where the episode ended, like they were chilling in a hotel or whatever, or somewhere, and Gemma was kind of hugged up with Jake and like, are you okay or whatever, and thought something was wrong because he didn't want to, you know, do anything, and normally he wants to get a little freaky, you know what I mean? But he was not into that, clearly, because of what he just saw. He didn't know how to react or how to tell her what he just saw. Because he couldn't explain it himself. He didn't know what was happening. He didn't know how to explain it to her. But in my mind, that's still not right. Like, you didn't say anything. Here's a few points I want to make before I wrap this up. Number one, I disagree with Jake's decision not to tell Gemma what happened to her dad. Granted, she knows you didn't do it because you were with her. So worst case scenario, she may be upset, but she not gonna blame you because you were not there, so you couldn't have been responsible if anything. But he chose not to say anything, to just let her go on, and find out like what, a day later or 2 days later, she finds out what happened to her dad, because she got to go back home eventually, right? And he's obviously not going to be there. Oh, I forgot to mention that Trig, even though Duda said let him die, Trig did eventually, I think, call the ambulance for Gemma's dad, and so the ambulance came to pick him up and take him to the hospital. So I think he ends up surviving. He didn't die, thank goodness, because that girl, that would have took me on a whole nother trip, and I was not ready for that. So yeah, but then I knew it was a wrap for Duda. I knew it was a wrap for Duda because this man survives, he's gonna press charges on you, bruh. Like, he knows it was you. Like, there's no escaping that. So not only does he have evidence that you're involved in some type of gang activity or socialized with some type of gang members, but on top of that, you basically assaulted him, almost attempted murder type situation, and you think you're not going to jail? I don't know what Duda thought. He was just gonna walk skate free from that? Nah, bruh. Nah. So I did not agree with the fact that Jake didn't tell Gemma. Second, like I said, Duda should have died when he got shot, because he was up to some shit. And like, we wouldn't even be in this situation had he just went on about his business or met his maker that day. But anyway, so there was that. They did not mention the whole Nina and Dre situation. That did not come up in this episode at all. And I was still wondering, like, I'm sure she gonna tell Dre. I think she told her already in the last episode. But I wanted to know, like, what's gonna happen with that? Like, how is Dre gonna respond to Nina cheating on her? And but that comes up in the next episode, so we'll talk about it. But that was not brought up in this episode at all. They mainly focused on Emmett and Tiff. They focused on Jada and her recovery. They focused on the whole Duda situation, what he was doing with his politics and stuff, and the Jake and Gemma thing. That's what they really focused on this episode. They didn't even really touch the whole Papa and Maisha thing either. So that was interesting. The episode was interesting. That whole assault thing really threw me off. But okay. So, and then the last thing I wanted to mention, and maybe I should wait till the next episode to mention it. Well, no, I'm going to just say it. So, about this girl that Kevin likes, Lene or whatever, she seemed like she got a lot of home issues, and it seemed like Kevin got enough things that he done been through already. That don't seem like a good combination to me. I could be wrong, but it's weird that I don't know. I guess maybe he just looking for some type of companionship. It don't necessarily have to be Lene. She just happened to be in the right place at the right time, maybe. But I don't see, again, just like I don't see it for Jake and Gemma, I don't see it for Kevin Lene. I don't see it. And personally, if I was Kev, and y'all can say what you want about me, that's a downgrade. No offense to Lene. I'm not trying to speak on her, physically or whatever. She cute, but homegirl can't dress. Like, did anybody notice that? Like, okay, maybe it's the Libra in me that's coming out when I'm talking about that, but like, my thing is, if you gonna go for the next person, you gotta upgrade. You can't downgrade. Like, and I get it, Gemma had money, so she could dress however she wanted to dress because she got money. But that's not an excuse, because you don't have to have money. You can still dress with some type of style. I don't know. Lene is not giving me nothing but tomboy at the moment. Like, I mean, that's cool if that's what Kevin's into, but she's just, her wardrobe is very basic. That's all I'm saying. Like, at least her hair is done. That's all I could tell you. But those outfits, in comparison to the way that homegirl used to come through the scene and serve you. I mean, she's serving you natural hair, she's serving you the outfits. I mean, I don't like the bitch, but she looks good. She can dress, she can carry herself. Miss Lene, you need to do better, sis. I don't know what else to tell you, Miss Lene. You need to do better, because that ain't it. That ain't it. And then she's so standoffish too, you know, which I can understand. Her circumstances probably make her defensive like that, which is cool. But I'm not feeling it for her and Kev either. And oh, well, that's in the next episode, so I'm not gonna bring that up. But I just wanted to mention that. So those are my thoughts on episode 9 of The Chi. I know this review probably wasn't that detailed, but it wasn't that much going on in this episode except for that one particular scene where everything got crazy. But so I'm gonna be back to do the review of the 10th episode and final episode, I believe, of the season. So we'll see how they wrap everything up with this last episode, and I will see y'all then. Okay, so if you like this video, like it, comment, subscribe, share with a friend or whatever, and come back next week or the next time I post for the final episode review of The Chi. See y'all then.